Thanks everybody for joining. This is the second webinar in the Oregon Trail webinar series, and we're super excited to talk about our course and camp life today. And we're really lucky to have Colleen, who is our logistics queen, and makes your experience run as smoothly as possible and answers all our questions and takes really good care of us all week. And Bad Chad, who is the mastermind behind Oregon Trail, and this is definitely a labor of love. And he does an amazing job of making sure that we can all show up each day and have our best experience as we circumvent the Cascade Mountain Range and go up and over and back again. So hopefully all of you got the email earlier this week that introduced the courses and I think maybe scared some folks. But the reality, we have to go up and over the Cascade Mountain Range twice. So we get to do that in spectacular fashion on gravel. So a couple housekeeping things for those of you who just joined. This call is being recorded and we'll have notes from the call and recording available on the website and through an email later this week. And if you have questions as we go, you can drop them in the little chat box, and I will facilitate those questions and answers with Chad and Colleen as we go. Oh my gosh, we're still admitting people. So yeah, and Colleen has an amazing collection of overalls. So some of them have like mushrooms or ducks or carrots. She has all kinds. So I think every day you'll pull out a new pair.
Yep.
Around camp. I also failed to say that Chad is the owner of Breakaway Promotions, and not only does he put on Oregon Trail, but he puts on Cascade Gravel, Gorge Gravel, and a number of really awesome running events. So for those of you who can't get enough of his sweet events, check out the website because there's more than just bike racing. Okay, let's I covered the chat questions. Let's dive in, Colleen.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you everybody for being here. I'm going to go over just a couple of the logistics things, some things about packet pickup, and some things about the campsites. And then Chad's going to go in and hit all of your questions, give you great previews over the course itself. So real quick, as Serena mentioned, we sent an email out earlier on Friday. Those are what I call the reminders of the week email. I'll be sending one of those out at least once a week until race day, just with things that often pop up the weeks leading to the event, things we want to make sure you guys remember. When you respond back to the email, they come to me. So I try my best to get back and answer you within 24 hours and get you the information you need. We know that this is a big undertaking. We know that this is a huge adventure. A lot of you travel from far away to come and ride with us for 5 days, and we're so honored, and we want to support you in every way that we can to make sure you have a great experience. A couple other places that you can get information on the website, there's a FAQ page, and I'll be posting the reminders for the week emails there as soon as they go out. And then there's a bunch of old FAQs from past events that you can see questions people were asking leading up to the event. The big thing is the rider guide, which we are hoping to publish tomorrow. And we're making our finishing touches on it. It should go out tomorrow to everybody. If by chance you didn't get the email this last Friday, you didn't get the email about the shuttle on Saturday, and I'll talk about the shuttle, and you don't get the rider guide, email me. I'm the email off the website. Let me know so we can make sure you are getting our emails, because all the important information is going to come through those. Okay, so going to start talking about some of the logistics. So day 0 is when all of you come and you come to packet pickup. This is on Tuesday before the big ride, and this is where you have to check in and you get all of your gear. 2 really fun things that are happening along with packet pickup is the Special Blend social ride, and you have to RSVP for that. Look for it in your emails, and there'll be an RSVP link, and that's in the morning. And then the afternoon, Argonaut, who is one of our sponsors, is going to lead a ride from packet pickup to their headquarters. They're going to have food and drinks and a tour of the Argonaut headquarters, which would be really cool if you guys are from Bend. If you're not from Bend, really cool opportunity to be able to see where the bikes are made. And you can either do the ride or you can just show up. We'll send some more details. That'll be in your ride guide, all about the Argonaut ride to the HQ. So on Tuesday will be your packet pickup. And this is where you get all of the important information, all the important things that you need to do the event. You'll get your timing chip. You'll get your bib. You'll get your drop bags. Okay. And these are the drop bags. They're cinch bags. These are kind of going in and out, sorry, but they're backpack cinch bags. You can use these for the morning when you pack your tote. If there's last minute things you need to drop in after your tote's been packed, you can put them on here. You'll have an extra little tab that you can put your number on. You'll get your meal pass, and then you'll get a bunch of goodies from our sponsors. We have the best sponsors at this event. Couple of our sponsors, Castelli will have some cool stuff for you. Schwabi is going to have some great stuff. Mir has come in again this year and is giving everybody a camp mug. Chad, show them your camp mug. You can see Chad's screen. They have the Oregon Trail logo on it. We'll have different colors you can choose from. And then during camp, you can actually come over during the merch booth to me. And sorry. You can come to the merch booth to me, and we can engrave your name onto your mug so you know it's your mug. Another big thing that you're going to get is your tote. If you've done Oregon Trail before, you know about the gear totes. We will talk about those in just a bit and give you the sizes. And another one of our sponsors is P&W, and they are giving everybody, you guys are the first to hear, everybody's going to get a really cool trail tool. Tiny little tool that'll go in your bike bag. This is a gift from them for you guys doing the event.
Colleen, I'm going to just interrupt you for just a second. Packet pickup is at the Seventh Mountain Resort. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's at Seventh Mountain Resort from 3 to 7 on Tuesday.
Excellent. The social ride in the morning, it starts at 10, also from the Seventh Mountain. And I'm not sure on the timing for the Argonaut. I think last year it was at 2.
I think we're doing a little bit later this year. I'm going to confirm it. I've got it in the ride guide now. I believe it is leaving 3:30 or 4 from packet pickup.
Okay, great. And Joshua, regarding the goodies, you won't need to put all of them in your tote if you don't want to, because you'll get them the day before. In regards to the weight, like with the mug and I don't think it's going to be too much.
Yeah, we recommend you bringing the mug. The mug's going to be what you drink your coffee from in the morning. You get your soda or whiskey, or we have Wild Roots vodka in our bar at night. So you'll use it all day long. We also have a really amazing Blackstone utensil kit that everybody's going to get. So you'll need to put that in your kit. We will have backup cups. We will have backup silver or plasticware, but we really try to keep our carbon footprint as small as possible. So we have these reusable items, very lightweight. I promise you, everything's super lightweight, so it will fit in your bin, and it won't be the thing that pushes it over 50 pounds.
And I promise, if it's 50.5, because you put your utensils in there, it'll be okay.
Say, Serena said, I'd be okay.
Serena said.
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the bin. So again, if you've done Oregon Trail, you know the bins. If you're new to Oregon Trail, which 70% of you are new to Oregon Trail, which is amazing, you get a bin at Packet Pickup. And these are like the ones you see at Home Depot, Lowe's, much bigger than the one I'm holding. And all of your gear has to fit in this. And it also has to weigh under 50 pounds. Why 50 pounds? Because we are lifting it many times during the day, moving it from spot to spot. Our crew is strong, but we're not strong enough to be lifting super overweight bins. So we have to make a point to keep them under 50 pounds. Your bin's going to have a sticker, and you can see in the presentation. It's 50 pounds total.
Just one sec. I do need to. We tear out the scale with the bin on it, so it's truly a 50 pounds. It does not include the weight of the bin, if that's what they were asking.
Thank you. If you can see in the picture on the presentation, your bin will have your race number on it. So you'll go race number. You'll have a color coded sticker that will go on your bin, and so you'll know when you get to camp. You'll see the bins lined up in order by or in number groups and color. So it'll be a lot easier to grab your bin after you finish riding.
Chad, do you by chance know how much the bin weighs? If people are like on a fine line?
Well, I don't know, but what the weight of the bin is irrelevant, because we have scales we put out. We actually put the bin on the scale and we tear it out to 0. So the bin weight does not factor in, just because we don't want the complexity of people having to try to calculate that out and kind of thing. So what you'll see is you'll come up and the scale will actually probably register like a negative, I think the bins are like 5 pounds. It'll register like a negative 5 pounds. And that's because we are not going to penalize you for the weight of the bin. It's just a truly whatever 50 pounds of gear that you're bringing that we haul on the trail for you.
Great.
And I did see a question pop up, Chad, and you are better to answer this one. The bins themselves, I have them listed as a 40-gallon.
That is correct, 40-gallon bin.
Is that the same as somebody said 50-liter?
50 liter?
I think it's more than that. How many liters? I apologize. I should know my liters to gallons conversion.
I'll do the conversion. I'll do the conversion.
And these are we purchase these in bulk from Home Depot. And so it's just their HDX tote bin, 40-gallon, and it's standard across the board. We've had bins we've purchased over the years, so but they're all still roughly the same size as far as the bin goes. So if you really want to kind of geek out on the packing and do some stuff, $24 at Home Depot, you can go down and pick up your bin, and then after you're done with your experimenting, then you've got another bin that you can use in and around the house, kind of a thing. But they're all pretty standard. I get pretty interesting looks when I go into Home Depot and say, hey, I need another 200 bins to purchase for this year's event, kind of thing. But they've worked really well. One other side note I'd like to mention too, I've been involved with other cycling tours where they've just taken your bags, your backpacks, your duffel bags. I can remember one particular bike tour. I won't name the name of that tour, but I checked my personal bag in for this tour, and I threw it in the box truck, and then I proceeded to watch 2 tons of gear being stacked on top of my precious bag. So anything I had in that bag that was slightly fragile was going to just be destroyed. Hence why we go with this bin system, because it helps keep your stuff safe in the travel along the trail.
Awesome. And as you guys think of more bin questions, we can answer those at the end for sure. So a big thing, you are allowed to bring a wheel set. So that's you'll drop off your totes either at packet pickup and your wheel sets at packet pickup, which we prefer, but we know that's really difficult when you're getting prepared for the event, or race morning at the start line or at the shuttle. And again, I mentioned the shuttle earlier. If you did not get the shuttle email, please email me and let me know as that you did not get that shuttle email. We have to have everybody RSVP, whether you're taking the shuttle or not, so we can plan our numbers and make sure that the start line goes off correctly. Sorry, I'm going to look over. Let's see. So check your emails if you haven't about the shuttle bus. I need your answers by tomorrow, end of day. Again, you'll drop off your totes either at packet pickup on Tuesday with your wheel sets, or that morning, either at the start where you pick up or started the actual race in Sisters, or where you pick up the shuttle at 7th Mountain Resort, or Pepper Tree Best Western if we're picking you up from Pepper Tree Best Western. Really big thing with the wheel sets is we have no naked wheel sets. That's a big rule. Either your wheel sets need to be in a bike box or a bag, and that's so they stay together and so they're safer. We'll put the wheel sets, spread them out for you, but wheel sets are delicate. So we want to make sure that they stay together and that they're safe. You also, as I pointed out, you get a gear bag. You can drop your gear bag in the morning at the race start, so you're not having to dig through your tote. It needs to be a small cinch bag where you can put like your toothbrush, maybe like a long sleeve shirt you wore to the start, stuff like that. We'll have those, grab those, and have them near the tote bags or tote bins when you get to camp. Okay. A couple things talking about camp life, unless we have some other questions about packet pickup and your gear totes.
So there is one question about riding to packet pickup, the problem with riding to packet pickup is that you then have to ride with your bin. So you'll want to make sure if you're staying at the Pepper Tree, you have a way to get your bin from.
If you're staying at Pepper Tree, we actually have a shuttle that'll go back and forth. That either we can take you and your bin, or if you ride to Seventh Mountain, we'll just have your bin set to the side and bring it back to Pepper Tree for you. Unfortunately, those are only the people who are staying at our host hotel that we can do that for. All right. So we're going to go into some of the really fun part about Oregon Trail. Yes, the courses are amazing. Beautiful. You're going to be on roads that you've never seen before. It's breathtaking. But another really fun thing about Oregon Trail, and the reason they call it adult summer camp, is camp life. So once you come in from your ride, you roll across the finish line. We're going to have a tailwind recovery table where you can get your recovery drink as soon as you cross the finish line. You'll go ahead and get your bin. If you have a VIP tent, we'll have tents set up for you. And when you check in, we'll explain how to claim your VIP tent. Don't worry about that right now. We'll go over all that information when you check in. Get out of your chamois, and then you'll be able to go to Snack Shack, which is kind of like your lunch. We're going to have it brew before dinner. So depending if you finish at noon or if you finish at 4 o'clock, we're going to have food there for you. That's going to have sandwiches. We have cereal. We have a whole bunch of really good filling food to get in your stomachs right after you finish so you can recover correctly. In camp, we will have mechanical support. We'll also have it on course through one of our sponsors, Sagebrush Cycles. We'll also have Schwalbe at camp to help out with some tire issues and anything that you're having. We do recommend that you are knowledgeable about fixing your bike on the trail. Bring a bike tool, bring a pump for your bike, a mini pump or cartridges. Bring your fix all the things you need to fix your bike. We do have mechanics and amazing moto crew on trail, but we have a long trail to cover and a lot of people. So if you can be self-sufficient, please do. We will do everything we can to get somebody to help you, but it's not guaranteed we'll be there right away. There will be a bike wash area in camp once you come in. We'll have that set up. We'll have scrubbers and water hose and everything set up for you to wash your bike. And then we'll have bike racks out that you can hang your bike on while you go and set up your tent, set up your camp area, and hang out at our expo area. Couple of the rules about camp life. These are pretty easy ones. Be nice, be respectful, clean up after yourself, and be mindful of food waste. Again, I talked about our carbon footprint earlier and how we try to make sure we cut down on the paper and the plastic and everything, but it's also the food. We have over 400 people to feed every day. We do really high quality, good food. I just ask that when you go through the line, don't pile so high that you might not eat all that food. We, again, try to be really mindful of not wasting. You're welcome to go back for seconds. We'll kind of talk about that in a bit. But yeah, we try to do everything to keep the expo area nice and clean. Please clean up after yourself. If you have questions, come see one of the breakaway staff. We'll all be around to help you out with things. I did see something pop up about if there will be a bike stand for wrenching. We will have a few in camp, but with the packet or the bike wash area, there should be a bike stand over there. All right. And I mentioned the food. Y'all, if you haven't been to Oregon Trail, the food is amazing. We're not eating beans out of cans. We're not eating, stale, dehydrated food, gourmet food. We're going to have breakfast, lunch, and dinner for you. We're going to have food at our aid stations. Thank you. Somebody just said the food and drink is awesome. We do all we can. We have an amazing caterer called Spin Catering, and we just got to see the menu just a few days ago. It's going to fill you up. It's going to give you a variety every day. You're not eating the same thing every single day. And then dinner is between 5 to 7. And like I said, you do have the ability to go back and get seconds. We just ask that you wait for the dinner bell. We'll do a big dinner bell. And that's to make sure the people who are spending a longer time on course who might not be back yet or may have not gotten out of their chamois, coming in right at that 5 o'clock, we want to make sure that they're able to get food as well. You can check on the website, OregonTrail.com/food, to see what last year's menu was. We also have an example of it in the ride guide, which we'll be getting tomorrow, of the different types of food that we're offering. Let's see, next. Oh, camp amenities. As I mentioned, everybody's getting a mirror cup. We're going to have coffee every single morning. That's important to all of us. We'll make sure you'll have your coffee bar. Castelli's running it. Mir is bringing the coffee mugs for everybody. And then we're going to have local coffee from the Bend area, which is delicious, brewing every single morning, with a variety of creamers and stuff into it. And then at night, after dinner or during dinner, we'll have the Schwalbe Saloon, which is our mobile bar that's set up for Fat Tire beer. We've got Broken Top whiskey. We have Wild Roots vodka and wine there. So we start the party on night one, and everybody hangs out and has a couple libations and celebrates all the climbing and the fun they did that day. Let's see. I kind of touched on the early arrival bags. Those are the backpacks. All camps places, we will have charging stations. So you can plug in your Garmin's, you can plug in your phones, plug in on any of your electronics that you need charging. We will have showers and restrooms, and we have shower trucks at the locations. They're warm showers, they're great showers, and clean restrooms as well. For those of you, again, who have VIP tents, we'll go over the tent setup and how those work. And unfortunately, the tent sold out really, really fast this year. So if you really need a tent for next year, make sure you sign up early and lock in that tent. Somebody just asked a question about the charging voltage. Can you?
Yeah, we do have. So it is 120 volts that we have set up. We have a lot. In fact, I think we have yet to have a year where there isn't ample plugs. We pretty much go overkill with our charging station. But I mean, we're going to be asking, people don't plug in blow dryers and that kind of stuff. But yeah, there's 120 power out there, and there's plenty of it.
Awesome. All right. So more to the camp amenities. So we do have the nightly shuttle. That is if you ride with us for the day and you're done. You're done with the ride, whatever day it is. We have a shuttle that goes back to Bend. And that is the only way you can get one of the coveted Died of Dysentery shirts. If you see Chad is wearing that, there is no other way to get that shirt than to tell us you're done hanging out with us and go back on what some people call the shuttle of shame. We'll call it the shuttle of celebration because you have hung out with us and you have ridden with us, but you'll get one of the dysentery shuttle. If you come into camp and you've decided you don't want to stay with us, you'll just have to let the announcer know. He'll have a sign-up sheet for you to get the shuttle back. We just need to make sure we have enough room on the shuttle, or we're going to be doing a second shuttle that night to bring you back to 7th Mountain Resort or Sisters, depending on where you're parked. Nightly, we will have the Q&A booth and the merch booth, music going all night long with, again, the Schwalbe Saloon, and then the massages going on. We sent out links earlier and in Friday's email with links to the massages. There are some more openings, and they also offer walk-up. And check out the links in this last email if you want to book some. One other thing we have is the stage shuttle. So during each ride, we do have a sweep vehicle. So if you're having a really rough day and you're not able to finish the ride, we will have a sweep vehicle that we can come and get you off the course and bring you back to camp. Just because you don't finish the day doesn't mean that you're not going to finish the ride. You can ride again with us the next day, and we really hope you do. We hope you stay the night and camp with us and rest up and then take on the next day's ride. All right. Any questions about camp life, about camp setup, anything like that?
Colleen, you did say one thing, and it struck me, and people might have questions. You said we'll be partying all night. There are quiet hours, so don't worry. Things get quiet, and you can sleep relatively early. So don't worry about that.
Yeah.
And if you want some friendly advice, be gentle on the libations, because you have to get up and do it again in the morning.
Yeah. Typically what happens is we all work really hard on day 1 and day 2. We make it to Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge, we're all celebrating because we're there. We're having a good night. Day 3 is a lighter day in Oak Ridge. It's a time trial day for the pioneers. The settlers can take the day off if you wish, hang out in the hammocks, put your feet in the water, take a real short ride around the lake. So usually people will have more than one drink on that night, but remember, day 4, you've got some climbing to do. So don't have too many too many drinks on day 4. I like that. So, all right. Chad, you want to run us through the courses and tell us all the exciting things about each day?
Absolutely. And once again, I just want to reiterate what Colleen said. We really appreciate every single one of you coming in and joining us. It's an honor on behalf of myself and our staff and our crew. There's a lot of that you guys are and gals are entrusting us with your care and investing in this event. So we don't take it lightly. We're there to help you every step of the way. I want to tell you just a little kind of intro story. 7 years ago, we created this event, actually 8 years ago, because it took us almost a year, 18 months to develop it before we even launched it for its first go around. The very first year, I think we were at about 350 miles and about 30,000 feet of elevation, 32,000 feet of elevation. So pretty close on with what we're proposing for this year's courses. And we had a lot of fear going into that very first year because we were worried that we may overshoot the mark between type 2 fun and type 3 fun. We wanted to provide an event that was like no other event out there as far as the challenge and difficulty. And we were frightened that in that first year we'd see like 50% of our participants abandoning, and it would just go down in flames. Because it's a hard race or a ride. If you're a pioneer, my hat's off to you. This is one of the hardest races in North America. I mean, hands down. I mean, I hear that all the time from the pros. If you're a settler, again, it's one of the hardest races in North America. I mean, you're basically doing 5 races or 4 races and a rest day back to back to back. So if you make it through 2 stages, if you make it through 3 stages, I know we joke about the shuttle of shame and the I died of dysentery t-shirts, so we give everybody on the shuttle on the way out. But just accomplishing 2, 3, 4 stages is a monumental thing in itself. So just realize as you're coming into this, it's going to be a major endeavor. 2 things that I had not counted on, and why we only saw about a 10 to 15% DNF rate in that first year, which shocked all of us. The first being hitting back on the food. The catering we have is unbelievable, and it is amazing when you ingest and you fuel yourself with quality, healthy foods, how far you can push your body day in and day out. And so the food, I give major kudos and credit to our caterer for feeding people and keeping the nutrition high. The second, and I almost think it's even more important and to the success of this event, was the level of camaraderie that we saw happen even in that very first year. You know, when you go to most bike rides or races, it's a one-day deal, and you're out there amongst a bunch of strangers, and you finish and you go back to your hotel and you catch the next flight or drive home or whatnot. The community that ends up being created through this 5 days of pain, suffering, joy, the whole mix of emotions that you're going to have throughout this thing is just incredible. And so what ends up happening is that after 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, you're going to start finding not only the community that you have in camp, but you're going to find a community out on course. And what I mean by that is that there's going to be other folks that are at your speed, at your ability, and you're going to see them for multiple days, and you start bonding, and that community support has been instrumental on pushing people to new levels and new heights that they didn't think were even possible. And so even from the very first year and every year, our DNF rate is just staggeringly low considering the endeavor that this event is. And once again, this isn't just about finishing and or about racing. This is about finishing. For some of you, this could be your bucket list thing, and just finishing this event is a major endeavor and something that you should take and be proud of. I mean, not only are you covering that kind of mileage, but you're traversing up and over the West Coast largest mountain range, the Cascade Mountain Range, not once but twice. So again, huge kudos for you folks. Don't ever underestimate what you can potentially achieve and do when you have the support of others around you. And then again, every single one of our staff are here to support you. All right, enough of that. I'm going to jump into the courses because I'm sure we're going to have questions. So I did push out a social media post, and I made the mistake of saying this was the year of the mountain goats. I do need to refrain and kind of clarify on that, because we did get a lot of, we had a few people going, yay, that's awesome. And we had a lot more that were going, oh my gosh, I'm worried, I'm scared. If you're a settler, that didn't really apply to you, and I apologize. That was more towards the pioneer aspect of it. Settlers, you're going to be pretty spot on with the same mileage and elevation that you've done in the last 3 to 4 years with this event. We want to make it challenging. There's no question about that. We want to make sure that when you get done with your 5 days, you said, I got my money's worth, and that was a very challenging but rewarding experience for myself and for those around me. So settlers, we don't try to torture you like we do necessarily the pioneers. If you're a pioneer and you're on this call, yes, you signed up for the big leagues, and you're gonna definitely get your money's worth when it comes to challenging. Now, the one thing I do want to give you a little bit of a reference point regarding how this year's stages and courses stack up to previous years. This is year number 7. This is actually going to be the shortest mileage year that we've had in those 7 years. Our longest year was 375 miles. This year, I think we're right at 336 miles, 335 miles. Elevation-wise, it's dead center. We've had 3 years where we've had more elevation. We've had 3 years where we've had less elevation. So elevation is dead center. What my reference is that we have a couple of key climbs that will definitely favor the mountain goats when it comes to racing and competition. One major climb that I think is going to be the most challenging is going to come on stage 2, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and start in with stage 1, and I'll go ahead and give kind of the layout, and then I'll take some questions and then go on to stage 2, stage 3, and so forth. In the past 2 years, one of the most challenging stages we've had at the Oregon Trail has unfortunately been stage 5. And that's because of what we affectionately call the Santiam Sandbox. And what it is there's an old historic wagon road called the Santiam Wagon Road that starts in just outside of Sisters, and it goes up over the Cascade Mountain Range over the Santiam Pass, and then it drops you down into the McKenzie River drainage area. And so that in the past, because we've gone in a clockwise fashion, that's ended up landing on stage 5, and unfortunately, one of the roughest and rowdiest portions of the entire loop has landed on stage 5. This year, good and bad, that rowdy and rough section is going to land in the very first half of stage 1. So stage 1, we're going to start in Sisters, and we're going to head out just kind of like we've done in years past. The first couple of years, this is going to be somewhat familiar territory for those folks that did the event in 2019, 21, and 22. We're going to climb up over the Cascade Mountain Range, up over the Santiam Pass at about mile 22 for the pioneers and 14 for the settlers. Is where you're going to go from gravel roads with a pretty good road base to the historic Santiam Wagon Road. And they have left it very much like it was when it was built in the 1860s, which means they didn't have modern equipment there. They just basically hand shoveled and created a roadbed out of the current soil and topography that was up there, which happens to be a fair amount of volcanic ash. That can vary depending on how little water we have received recently. So it'll be interesting to kind of see as we come down to the wire what Mother Nature sends us as far as moisturing goes. The good news is that it's about 6 miles in total length for that. The last portion of that section is going to be really rough. It's about a mile to a mile and a quarter, where the actual old historic wagon road is a mix of both sand and loam, and then it also has outcroppings of kind of this big, chunky, sharp volcanic type rock. We'll be going up there with crews and working to create at least a single track line through it that's very clear to see and understand. So that we're not going to just toss you through the brunt of a rough situation. We are going to give you outlets and areas so that you can pedal through that. The one nice thing is because you've got about 2,000 feet of climbing before you get to that section on Santiam, the Santiam sandbox, things will start actually separating out. So you're not going to have 100 people hitting this section all at one time. So there, you'll be able to pick your line a lot better, as we will see some separation before we get up there. I'm going to be heading up there with one of our former pros and former winner, Carl Decker, and we're going to be doing some inspections on the stage, all the stages on Monday and Tuesday. So keep posted to social media for the latest and greatest as we give you video and pictures and final updates on the courses. But be prepared for something sandy, something rough. If my take on it, since you do have the ability to bring an extra wheel set, I think it's worth bringing a wheel set that has it's mounted up with some smaller tires, maybe some 45 millimeter tires for some of the really buttery smooth days. And then I would also put a pair of 50 millimeter tires on, and I would use those on stage 1 and stage 4, which are going to be definitely kind of a looser, sandier sections. Once you get through about the 30-mile mark for the Pioneers and about the 22-mile mark for the Settlers, you're going to go from some of the roughest and rowdiest portion of the 5 days to some of the most beautiful and spectacular roads. And what you're doing is you're crossing over from the east side, which is the high arid desert of Oregon, into the lush green and much more moisture laden roads of the western Oregon and the Willamette Valley. So once you make that connection, and it's pretty crazy if you're not head down to the wind and racing, there's about a 2-mile section where you're going to see the vegetation and topography and the scenery, I mean, just change like that. Just instantaneously, you're going to be all of a sudden in these huge cedars and old growth fir trees and lots of green, lots of amazing scenery. But the road quality gets so good on that west side. A lot of amazing logging roads. They're smooth, they're fast. So if you can survive the first 30 miles, you are a long ways into finding success for the whole event, because that is the worst part of the whole 5 days. So the remainder, you're going to actually drop a net loss of 2,000 feet. So you are going to get some assistance on that stage 1. You've got some rough sections, but you do have a net loss on that stage of over 2,000 feet elevation, as you're going to go from the high desert and you're going to go down into the Willamette Valley of McKenzie. Finishes us off. So it'd be a lot of fast, smooth. A lot of these roads are very, very quiet, very lightly traveled. You know, if you see a 1 vehicle per hour every 2 hours, that's a busy day up there. There's times we're up there working with our crews, we'll go 8 hours when we see 1 car. So it's pretty remote. Cell service is not the greatest up there. So that's, again, the importance of being self-reliant and bringing your own tubes and tools. We do have staff that's going to be ripping up and down the course on motos, so you don't have to usually go more than about 30 to 40 minutes before you'll see somebody, but just so you don't have to wait that 30-40 minutes before you actually get some help is a good way to go. Once you each of the courses, because of safety, we have a timing start and we have a timing finish, and so we don't actually finish all the way at our camp, because we've got a major state highway that's going to be taking you into where the McKenzie camp is for the day 1. Huge shoulder on it. Safety wise, I'm not concerned, but I just don't want people racing on a highway, just in case people get a little frisky and they decide they're going to try to keep up with the 55-mile-an-hour cars. So you'll be finishing down by the Blue River Reservoir. You get hot, you're off the clock because the timing segment is done. You feel free to jump into the reservoir there and for a swim, because you're gonna go right by it. And then you've got a few miles before you get into to camp. Camp McKenzie is a beautiful spot. It's close to the McKenzie River. If you do get a chance, you can walk out the back gate to the track facility, and there's a little boat ramp down on the McKenzie River where you can go soak your legs. It is cold, really, really cold. It stays cold all summer long, and a great way to help with the swelling and inflammation of your tired legs after day one, to go sit in the river and hang out and enjoy. So real quick, any quick questions that have come up regarding stage one?
Yeah, Chad, one sort of overarching question was around AQI protocol and fire mitigation safety, if you want to address that.
Yeah, so fire is always a risk that we have whenever we're running this event, anywhere in the Cascades kind of thing. So if we see an issue with AQI and fire and so forth, we have the same company that's going to be doing our shuttles for us that get us from Bend to Sisters. We have them on standby to be able to order up buses and so forth to be able to ship people to the next stage. A lot of times when you have a fire, that fire affects a zone or a region, but because this race encompasses and covers so much area, especially on the west side, typically we don't see very many fires pop up on the west side, the true west side of the Cascade Mountain Range until latter part of July. Now, granted, this is a drier year for sure and a lower snowpack type of a thing. So, but yes, we have an evacuation plan. We have a plan to be able to transport people to the next stage. We have a plan to be able to transport them back to the finish if everything catches on fire and there's an issue. And so we're always scanning, monitoring. Wildfires, you know, a small fire can catch it alongside the road, but generally, unless it's a really freak wind situation, they're not. It's not like a hurricane or a tornado that's spreading and consuming a 50-mile square area in a matter of hours. It takes time for it to move and so forth. So all of that said, we'll be giving communications through emails and through announcements and staying vigilant on everything, but we do have backup plans in place. All right, I'll start on stage number 2. Again, anytime anybody after has questions, they can email Colleen, they can email me. I'm more than happy to respond and give some more data, as well as just keep an eye on social media as we start sending out more images, video, and course updates as we go out. We've my course director Tony Kick and I went out on Memorial Day weekend, which is a first for us. We've never had the snow gone by then. Typically, we're having to spend 2 to 3 weeks plowing out anywhere from 15 to 20 miles over the high pass roads with heavy equipment to get the courses opened up. But this year we were able to access 100% of the course in May and get a good look at it. But like with everything, we like to make sure that we're getting most current data. So we're going to go back out and we're going to do a full examination of all 5 stages here next week, just to make sure that we are looking good. So stage 2. On stage 2, we'll leave McKenzie. We'll have a neutral rollout to a remote start, which is about 4 miles away from camp. It's a great opportunity to kind of shake the legs out, get some spinning and going. And then from there, we're going to be once again on those west side roads. They're going to be just beautiful. They're going to be fast. They're going to be compact. Really a beautiful stage. A lot of cool rivers and streams along the way. Beautiful scenery, beautiful views. Settlers, you're gonna have a pretty mellow climb over to the finish into Oak Ridge. Pioneers, this is one of the climbers' advantages that we've implemented this year with our climb up Dead Mountain. It'll be a mountaintop finish. It'll be the first true mountaintop finish we've had at the Oregon Trail in the 7 years of this event. And so if you're a pioneer, you've definitely got going to get your money's worth at the end of stage 2 as far as that goes. Then we'll roll down into the Salmon Creek drainage area and into Oak Ridge. We do ask that you follow the route. There is a shorter route that you can cut across on the neutral section into the Green Waters Park, but you have to cross a very busy highway. So we're actually sending you on an underpass into the backside of the park for safety reasons, and we will require everybody to follow that route to get into camp. One thing we really try to do on this year's stage, we're going to hit you really hard on stage 2 and on stage 4, but we went much lighter on our mileage and elevation on stages 3 and 5. So stage 3 this year, the famous Enduro that we do, which is a 2-segment timed event, will be 27 miles in total length. And I think it's only like about 2,000 feet of elevation. If you're a settler, you are more than welcome to take the day off. We can give you some alternate routes that are a bit flatter if you want to do just a lap around the reservoir, which is really pretty. Half of it is gravel, half of it is pavement. Or if you've got some extra energy and you're like you want to test your legs, you're more than welcome to jump in right after the Pioneers, and we can actually get a time for you, and you can do a comparison how you stack up against your favorite pro on the enduro day, and doing the same hill climb and descent time segment. So otherwise, it's a great opportunity. We've got some great food options lined up for both lunch and for dinner. Spectacular. So that's a great way to get you fueled up for stage 4. Stage 4 is going to be a tough one, especially for the Pioneers. For the Southerners, it's going to be pretty similar to what it was previous 2 years. Pioneers are going to start off with a lower category climb pretty early on to the stage, which is going to be climb up Wolf Mountain. The climb is a long one. It's over 4,000 feet of elevation, and that's done over about a 10-mile segment. Nothing super steep. It's just a very long, continuous grade to get up to the top of Wolf Mountain. The aid station at the top of Wolf Mountain for Pioneer, it will blow you away, your mind. It will be the most beautiful, spectacular viewpoint / aid station that you've ever come across. It's just going to be magnificent up there. Settlers, you don't get that magnificent view from stage 4. However, you don't have to climb Wolf Mountain. You miss that 4,000 foot elevation gain, as well as the next one, which is 2,000 feet in elevation gain. And instead, you're going to meander along the middle fork of the Willamette. You're going to have a very large and heavy tree canopy, which will help keep things cool. And you'll have the river running right along next to you. Again, really almost acting as Mother Nature's air conditioning as you come up through there. Now, when a hot day, it still feels hot, but it's way less than on being on an exposed climb or road. So you're going to meander all the way up that Willamette, and you're in the middle fork of the Willamette, and then you join the Pioneers after they get done with their 2 big climbs, and you'll both climb that 3rd climb together up to Summit Lake. There's lots of streams, so if you need to stop, you need to wet your jersey, splash your face, just take a minute. There are so many amazing rivers and streams along the way that you can use to cool off. Summit Lake is a gem. It sits at the very top of the Cascade Mountain Range. It is almost as clear as Crater Lake. It's just unbelievably beautiful, and you literally are like feet away from riding along the shore, feet away from the lake. So if you need to stop again, you're not on a time crunch, stop, splash some water on your face, jump in, whatever. Highly advise that you do it. From there, you're just going to be doing a lot of rolling on kind of dirt roads as you come into the backside of Gilchrist. It will be dusty towards the last 3 or 4 miles of this stage, but nothing excessive as far as that goes. And then you'll come into the backside of Gilchrist. We have a beautiful camp. Once again, we're going to be at the Gilchrist Historic Resort, which has got miles of lawn, sits right alongside the lake and Little Deschutes River, and is just a beautiful, beautiful spot. And we're getting a little bit short on time. I just want to make sure that we cover all the way through our stage 5. Stage 5 is probably the first time we've really spent a conscious effort to say, hey, we're going to hit you hard with stage 4. Stage 4, there's no easy route about it. It's going to be a big, big day. But we've, in the past 2 to 3 years, we've also had a very difficult stage 5. So we've kind of taken a chapter out of the Tour de France. If any of you followed the Tour de France, you know that the final stage is along the Champs-Élysées is more just an easy rolling stage and a formality for the racers that are coming in. So we call it, I affectionately call it the Champs-Élysées, since we consider ourselves the Grand Tour of gravel. I call it the Champs-Élysées of gravel. You're going to actually have a net elevation loss of, I think, 500 feet as you go from Gilchrist into the backside of Seventh Mountain Resort. You got one climb that you're going to need to do. It's going to be right towards the front of that stage. It is going to be a paved climb because it's early in the morning. The heat won't have set in quite a bit. But then once you get to the top of that climb, it's just a lot of rolling and downhill till you get to the finish. And I think the climb is maybe 1,000, maybe 800 feet, something like that. And it's over the course of about a 5-6 mile span. So nothing too crazy. Pioneers, you're going to get a little extra distance by going around what's called Davis Lake, beautiful views of the Cascade Mountain Range, where the settlers are going to be taking a more direct route heading due north up into around Wickiup Reservoir, and then meeting back up with the Pioneers before you come into the backside of Seventh Mountain Resort, and then finish with our party at Seventh Mountain Resort. Once again, we'll be Seventh Mountain Resort will be hosting the finish. We love it because there's lots of huge pine trees and shade, and especially on a hot day, it's a great place to hang out because of the shade factor. And and we'll have amazing food and celebration for all of you for finishing this massive endeavor and challenge. So that's kind of the gist of the courses. Once again, I really advise you to keep your eyes on our Instagram, our Facebook. This in the next 7 days, as we go out and we start touring and doing final cleanup and prep on these stages, we'll be giving you the latest and greatest on intel and some visuals of different sections along that course that that might be tricky or might be fun. Carl Decker is great at kind of breaking things down and so forth. Yes. A good point with Serena just posting, because we are, one thing we do find being in the mountains and also being in the high desert is that you can have anywhere from 40 to 50 degree swings within the day. So you could start your morning and it could be 35, 40 degrees, and it could still go up to 80, 85 for a high, possibly even 90 degrees and during the day. Daytime highs typically peak out between 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. So generally, if you're able to get into camp by 1, 2, 3 o'clock, you can avoid some of that high heat that we sometimes will see. And those temperatures we've had everything over those past 7 years from snow to triple digits and everything in between. So you just kind of come prepared for anything, and that's part of racing in the Oregon Cascades.
Really quick, we'll go over just a few little more things. Nightly, we will have a nightly celebration. We're going to bring up the pro category race leaders as well as the pioneers we brought up for each day. We'll have the leaders jersey for the pros. If you are doing Pioneer, again, it is scored. We're doing GC scored. And if you do start as a Pioneer and you decide to drop down to Settler, that's perfectly fine. You can decide that before you come to Packet Pickup. Email me. You can decide at Packet Pickup. You can decide on day 4. Wherever it works for you, we want to make sure that you're having the best ride of your life. So you can go ahead and drop down to the shorter distance, the lower elevation or less climbing of the Settler, but still a wonderful ride whenever you need to. A couple more things about the courses. Chad talked about the courses. I think he talked about being marked. We are really, really well known for how well our courses are marked. Our moto team is amazing. They mark the courses really well, and they go out. They mark them at night. They also go back out and drive the entire course before you guys hit on your bikes to make sure the tape is still up there, the signs are still up there. We will have 3 aid stations each day. The final day we only have 2, but the aid stations are stocked with Tailwind nutrition. We've got goo gels, goo chews, and then we have real food like Rice Krispie treats and salty chips and a whole bunch of different snacks that you might want. I talked about the course mechanic. One thing with the motos is they are professionals. They run races themselves. They know how to pass you and how to let you pass. So if you have a moto coming up, keep riding your line, keep riding your race. They will pass you safely and correctly when the time is right. They know you're out there racing and they don't want you to have to like get off course or do something. They know how to pass you correctly. Same thing for our medical staff. We'll have medical staff throughout the course, on course, in case anything happens. They know how to correctly pass you. And then we're going to have medical staff in camp. So if you finish your ride, you don't feel great, come find me, come find one. We'll have a medical tent set up every day. Come find somebody from Breakaway and let us know if you have any medical questions or issues.
Cody, can you talk about start time real fast?
Chad, you want to talk about start time? Do you want?
No, I was going to let you talk about start. I had another point, so go ahead and talk about start time, and then I'll make that point.
Okay. So start time on the first day, we have a 8 a.m. optional early start. That's for anybody who's not going to be on the podium because we want all people who are in podium contention to be racing under the same conditions. And then on the first day, the Pioneers will start at 9 a.m. and the Settlers will start at 10:30. You'll get the full schedule of the daily start times in your ride guide tomorrow. But what we will do is we'll start the Pioneers first, the Pioneers, the pros, the Open Pioneers, and then the Settlers will start after them. We'll have all those times published. We do offer an early start on day 4. which is your long climbing day. Again, that'll be the people who are not necessarily in podium contention, but want more time to be on course, more time to finish. So that'll be usually an 8 o'clock start, but I need to confirm that for that early start.
And one point I just want to make, Colleen kind of touched on it too. Just the thing we really pride ourselves on is the course support. We want to make sure that you guys and gals are safe and well taken care of when you're out on course. Our course moto crew that goes out and does all of our signage for us, they will set the signs the previous day, and then they will go out at 5 a.m. and they will ride the entire course. Yes, sometimes that's 75, sometimes it's 100 miles. They'll ride it again to make sure that nobody got cute and decided to redirect signs, remove signs. Unfortunately, there are some really selfish and bad people out there, and so we have to go out there to confirm, and then they'll ride it a third time, right in front of the race to make sure, once again, one last look before the riders get there, that nothing's been messed with. Or there's been times that maybe there's a down tree or there's a broken down truck, there's a hazard. And so just realize that our course guys will spend about 300 miles on their moto before the first rider even comes to an intersection or a location along there, and then multiply that by 5 days. It does take a fair amount of time for these guys to do it, but the quality of your experience and the safety of your experience is of utmost. Vehicles on the course, I don't want to give anybody false hope on this, but we pride ourselves on finding courses that have very little traffic on it. There's been a number of years I've been riding my moto with the pros at the front, and over the span of covering 350 miles, I've come across maybe 12 cars total in that under the racing portion. So you're going to be in some really remote, some really beautiful areas. The other thing too is because we make everything neutral support on our aid stations and we don't allow families and friends to go up and feed theirs, that keeps a lot of vehicles off the course, which means it cuts down on the dust, it cuts down on the potential for interactions or collisions with vehicles. So there's a lot of things that we've implemented there to truly make this a very pure experience for all of you when you're out there on course.
We are kind of running out of time. I want to quickly touch on two things. If you have questions about shuttles, email me directly. I see a couple questions in there. I'll just be able to clarify any questions just to you. A big thing too, and I think Chad did mention this, I want to reiterate it. There's chances the courses could change before race day. There's a bunch of factors that go into that. It has to do with logging. It has to do with weather going into the race day. So while we have published the courses, if we have to change them, we will send emails, let you know. I personally would not put the courses on my Garmin until the day before, because there's a good chance it could change and I don't want to confuse myself. So look at the courses online. If you guys are nerds about climbing like I am, on the GPS page, there's links to a couple spreadsheets that break up each day's climbs. But just know that there is potential for the courses to change each day.
Colleen, one question was about, or Chad, starts. So from my understanding, there'll be a pro men's start. 10 minutes later, there'll be a pro women's start. And then there is a mass start for everyone else, not segmented by category. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And
Correct.
then the other piece is someone asked, if you want to be counted in the overall, you have to start in your group. If you want to do the early start, you can do so and you'll get a time, but that won't be in the results. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We want everybody that's racing against each other to be in the same field. So the best way we can do that is to say that you do the traditional start. And if you truly are racing and you're looking for a podium, then that's then you shouldn't need that extra hour of time. Extra hour time is simply for people that are there to finish the event. They're concerned about finishing the event within the time cutoff. And so we want to give them a little extra assistance when it comes to that.
A good example is a few years ago, we had the lead group went through and had great weather. And then the group right behind them had to deal with snow and hail. Things change on course. We want to make sure that, everybody's racing pretty much in the same weather.
Yeah. I think that covered, I think we got to most of the questions. If I missed any, I apologize. There were a couple about shuttles. Again, Colleen's email is the info at on the website. So she's the person on the other end of that email communication. And hopefully that was really helpful. Thank you both for being here. And thanks to all of you. We had almost 70 people on the call. So thank you for spending the last hour with us. We will have one more of these webinars on July 2nd with folks from Schwalbe, Castelli, and Easton. And looking forward to seeing all of you there.
Thank you guys for doing
Yeah.
this. It's gonna be an awesome.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate every single one of you, and we're really excited to be there to help support you, the entire team. I think we have about 60 people that travel along just to support all of you out there as you take on these challenges. So thank you so much. You are all amazing to us, and we are excited to help you at this year's Oregon Trail.
Awesome. Thanks y'all.
Everybody.